Hello, my name is Tom, and today I'm coming to you from Nerds of the West to invite you to open a theme park. You'll be rewarded with millions, or more accurately in-game, like a few hundred, multi-denominational coins, an ever-growing stream of adoring fans, and ultimately, the satisfaction of a park well and beautifully built. That is unless, of course, someone else scores more victory points than you, in which case you'll probably want to jump straight back into this light and tight 15 minutes per player intro to Tableau building games. This is Funfair from Good Games Publishing. Funfair, designed by Joel Finch and kindly provided to us by Good Games Publishing, is a lightweight, stripped-back version of Unfair. Also designed by Joel Finch, but not provided to us by Good Games, Unfair was Good Games' 2017 theme park Tableau building game, and it promised the full world of theme park building action. But with this full world came a few issues. You had the jealousy of other people's parks coming out and take that mechanics where you would destroy other people's rides, manipulating audiences and markets corruptly, giving you free money via event cards, or even doubling your entire income. And then finally, the crushing weight of your own park and the city council doing everything it can to stomp you out right as you're getting started. These mechanics were all added to make a more intriguing, fuller puzzle for the audience to enjoy. But all it did was feel like one of those pirate ship rides, going from highs to lows before settling back at a really average middle. Unless you're one of the players that pulled the exact right cards you needed to pull off a combo or two, but that doesn't really work into the pirate analogy. Funfair does away with all these negatives and some of the overly powerful positives to present a more refined experience that can be enjoyed by those just touching an engine builder for the first time, or those that have had their hands deep into games like Wingspan or Roll for the Galaxy for a while. It does this by simplifying all your decisions. There are no big combos or multi-turn plans you need to consider. Each round, you just need to look at the cards available to purchase for you, either in your hand or in the market that you're allowed to build directly from, and think about whether the cost to build them is worth it for you right now. There are three main aspects that you need to consider before you build a card. In the top right, you have stars, which equal the amount of people that this card is going to bring into your park, which in one massive coincidence, each person is going to pay you one multi-denominational coin. So each star equals how much money that you're going to get at the end of each round. On the other side, there are icons, which score in an almost exponential scale, but we'll touch more on them later. And down the bottom, some cards have special abilities, and these can range from building you other cards for free, to getting you free cards into your hand, to getting you extra money for rides you've already built because they sit a snack seller right down at your snack stall, or maybe cards that will make other cards cheaper in the future, and even cards that will score you a massive amount of victory points just by building your park on a certain theme. While you need to be balancing getting cards that give you income versus cards that give you victory points, you never need to plan this too far in the future. You're never going to be behind because you chose an extra coin here over an extra victory point, or cheaper staff in the future versus extra income this round. You're only taking 3 turns every single round, so you only have to weigh up the cards that you can build right now versus the cards that you can build in a few moments time with the money that you have right now in your hand. The big choice that you have right at the start though is when to build your showcase card. Everyone gets one of these, and it's a big 20 cost card that will give you 3 stars and 2 icons, including a theme. Most importantly though, it gives you a 4th action every single round. Theme park investors, which are apparently a thing, see the value in these big rides and give you 5 coins towards building it every round. So you can build it straight away with the 30 coins that you start round 1 with, but maybe you want to wait a turn, kickstart your engine a little bit, or maybe you want to forego those 3 or 4 extra turns that you would get and build it once it's free. The game also limits your scope by never allowing you to build more than 5 attractions, and quite often you can get the win with 4 or maybe even 3. As for the Tableau part of this Tableau building game, you put your staff on the left, attractions on the right, and here's your gate stuck right in the middle. Your upgrades build up in this lovely tick tape that hides the gorgeous art by Mr. Cuddington, but crucially shows all the important stars and icons that you need to see. I will touch more on them later. As long as you never build more than one staff or attraction of the same name, or never put more than one of the same upgrade onto a single attraction, your park will be totally law-abiding and will bring you a steady stream of single coin paying guests. Between the rounds of 3 or 4 actions, you will be gaining money in the guest step for all of the guests visiting your park. You'll be cleaning up the board, getting rid of all of these cards and dealing 6 new ones. And then to start off every single round, the City Council will be rewarding your efforts with grants, trade shows, and various other helpful effects. These city cards really help with the flow of the game because they recontextualize everything. They make you reconsider your plans, but not your entire life. They just help those cogs in your brain start turning. It can be as simple as giving everyone free cards, or maybe giving you some free money if you give an opponent a card, or as complex as putting a coin down, making every single card in the market cheaper as long as someone starts buying from the market first, which they were going to be doing anyway, but now they have to decide, is it going to be worth it to bite the bullet first, or should they wait for someone else to do it? The best cards to get right at the start of the game though are free blueprints. Blueprints are, as the name suggests, plans for you to complete to score yourself some extra victory points, or even extra victory points. However, if you don't complete one, a blueprint fairy will appear and take 10 points away from you at the end of the game. Overall though, blueprints are great. They give you a direction to work towards, solidifying all the chaos of infinite options down into a hyper-focused intent to create. They're locked away after 4 rounds, so if you want one, you have to get in quick, but you can have really as many as you can get your hands on. They are fantastic for people who are a little bit lost as to what to work towards, but they can also be a little bit detrimental because you get so focused on building a leisure ride with 2 guest services upgrades that you let a giant roller coaster of points scream right past you. Because one of the best ways to score points in Funfair is by adding up a lot of icons. I told you I'd be getting back to them. On their own, icons don't mean anything. A little flag, a J to indicate that it's a jungle-themed ride. But altogether, 15 icons makes your ride the biggest, most exciting thing since Pirates of the Caribbean. Not that I really know if that's exciting, it's just that when I was riding this, the only roller coaster near us is the Abyss, and if they made jokes about that, no one would get it. But back to the point about points. Each attraction is going to score points based on how many icons it has in an almost exponential scale. 5 icons, it's going to get you 20 points. Double that to 10, you're going to get 55 points. Go up to 15, a whopping 115 points. However, not every upgrade can go on every ride, so not every ride is going to get that big. And not every upgrade is going to get you victory points for other things and work with your other upgrades and stuff. And then not every upgrade is going to come out at the right time because you need to get the money before you get the icons, and then you need the flag at the end because once you put the flag on, you can't build anything else on top. And that's the main conundrum that you face in Funfair. What path do you want to go down? So do you build one giant roller coaster? Do you maybe build a couple of different rides, put a couple of different upgrades on each? Do you go for staff, get the HR manager that's gonna make all staff cheaper? Do you go for blueprints? You know, the top parts are really nice, you can meet them and then maybe pick up a couple of bonuses. Do you go for straight cash? 2 coins left over at the end of the game is 1 victory point? Or do you maybe go for the award that's set down by the ethereal theme park gods at the start of the game to give 15 victory points to whoever meets that criteria? At the end of the day, probably going to do a little bit of each. You're going to take some cards to kickstart your economy at the start. You're going to have a look for the first few rounds, see what you can pick up when you want to build your showcase, what blueprints you might have, and then by the end, you're pretty locked into a strategy. You can never really worry about what anyone else is doing because you can't read their mind or see into their hand or look at their blueprints, and you don't really have time to. After 3 or 4 actions, you're going to be out of money and you need that guest step to get that income to start the next round. And that city card comes out, you reassess everything and you're good to go. You're never pushed or rushed or pulled in any direction. The game just trots along at this steady pace, letting you consider everything that it has to offer, but never making you worry. It's never intensely tense, like your park is going to fall apart if you make the wrong decision. It's just thought-provoking and fun. I will say that this is not going to be a game that you break out all the time. After a few playthroughs, you've seen everything that Funfair has to offer, and for that reason alone, I wish they had kept the modular setup from Unfair. I understand that was pulled out to make it a quicker, more accessible game, but so many other things were already taken away to make this easier and more accessible, I wouldn't have minded the extra steps in setup to make the game more replayable. There is also the luck of the draw. In this kind of game, you are at the mercy of the cards that you pull. When we played this on Twitch, I was quickly running away to the lead because at the end of round 3, I already had 30 coins worth of income because I pulled all the leisure rides I needed and the staff member that makes leisure rides have extra income. Now, that is a fairly extreme example. I had 2 leisure rides at the start, and on my turn, he came out and I bought him like turn 2. So I was ready to go. It's just worth noting that things like that can happen, and luck isn't always a bad thing. Sometimes you're gonna get the cards you need, sometimes you're not. Because of its steady pace and thought-provoking but never intimidating decision-making, Funfair has become one of my favorite intro games. I have loved showing this off for people who've never seen this kind of system before. It eases them into that multi-turn resource management and decision-making, but it never breaks their mind or their spirit if their plans don't go the right way. It's a game that board game veterans have loved seeing these systems made easy and fun, and it's a game that newcomers have absolutely reveled in. If I'm gonna be doing more of these kind of reviews, then I'm definitely gonna need one of those fancy Nerds of the West recommend stickers, because this is a game that I can highly recommend. If you like Funfair, or if you want me to check out any other game, if you want to see more of these kind of reviews, leave a comment down below, send us a message anywhere you get your social media. This is something that we want to do more of, and we thank you so much for any support that you show us towards that happening. Lastly, my name's been Tom from Nerds of the West. Have fun playing board games, and I'll catch you next time.